Namaste. You know how people they come to you and they ask after you've been talking to them for a while, and they'll ask you, "What do you do?" It seems like most of the time they're not really interested in what you do. They're more interested in whether or not you're on the same social level as them. And that question is sort of the socially acceptable way of being able to determine whether someone is on your level. In other words, are you somebody that can help me, or are you somebody who I have no use for? So, if you really think about it, the way we in our culture uh, use that question is kind of a rude question. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard in some countries when they ask, "What do you do?" it has nothing to do with your uh, occupation as far as how you make money, but it has more to do with what your interests are. So, from that vantage point, I would be a chess player. I love chess. Um, it, Different people look at their value and self worth in different ways. And um, recently, my supervisor asked me to create a training program for my whole department. What I do at work is I am a technician. Uh, I work with automated industrial equipment. And my department probably has over 60 people in that department across all four shifts. You're probably looking at about 60 people. And out of everyone in that department who are everyone who's also technicians, my supervisor's supervisor asked me uh, to develop a training for new hires and a, uh, a refresher course for the people, the employees that are currently working in the department. Now, the spiritual teaching is non judgment, uh, not to look at it as a good thing, not to look at it as a bad thing, but just to look at it as a thing. You remember the story about the farmer, and he had a son, and I think he had one horse. I think I may have mentioned it in another video where the horse runs away, and uh, his neighbors come by and they say, "Oh, that's bad luck," and the farmer just says, "We'll see." And then the horse comes back with other horses, and the neighbors, they come over and they say, "Oh, that's good luck," and the farmer just says, "We'll see." And as the story goes, uh, the events that unfold for the neighbors keep judging these events. First it's good, then it's bad, then it's good, then it's bad. But the truth is, they don't have the insight to know whether something is good or bad because they can't see the beginning all the way to the end. All they can see is a fragment in time, and they're using a fragment of time to determine whether a situation is good or bad. So the principle of non judgment keeps us in the middle path. It keeps us grounded. It keeps us humble. It keeps us balanced when we can see clearly and say, you know what? I'm not going to judge this. And for me, that's difficult because the ego wants to uh, come out and say, hey, look at me, I'm special. Look at me, I matter. Look at me, I'm being acknowledged here for my intelligence, for my ability, for my creativity. It's hard uh, from a spiritual perspective to resist. Well, you're not supposed to resist. It's hard to let go of ego uh, and remain in a state of non-judgment of the situation. And so that's where right view comes into play because everything has impermanence. All things have impermanence. And next week, someone else may be chosen to do something else. And when I'm finished with my project, then I may not be able to get in a position like that again. Who knows what the future holds? And understanding that and living in the present moment, not in the future or in the past, that helps us to let go of the judgments and the attachments, even when uh, it's something that we feel like is going to make us feel better about ourselves. Because if we cling to it now, if we allow the ego to prevail and to say, I am special, then it will be that much more difficult to stay grounded when a situation arises that tells us the opposite. You are not special. But if we maintain that balance in the middle path, uh, then we'll develop that spiritual integrity to be able to weather the storms that we don't want. Namaste.